Yes, Luigi, we're at the front of hallowed turf, where I used to work many years ago. Haven't been there since. Not since, I think, November 1991. So this is the Big X, Xerox, Fuji Xerox. The workshop where I used to work as a refurbisher. Around February 1990 to, I think, remember November 1991. Man, it's been a long time since I physically walked out the front of this place. It's not the same anymore. It looks a lot more slick from the outside, but on the inside I don't feel there's any soul in it anymore. So down the side there, if I remember correctly, that would have been where all the spare parts were stored and stock, you know, inventory. And down the side there, I think I remember there were dumpsters, you know, old copier hardware dumped, you know, just, yeah, that was years ago. Yeah, I was trying to save up for a copier myself, and one of the things I found really painful was seeing really good equipment being dumped, you know, like Canons, and I know this Xerox, it's a conflict of interest, I understand, but it still seems sad that, you know, usable equipment, you know, I would have loved to have salvaged a lot of that stuff. Yeah, so we're getting close. This is where the reception was, where the security guards would have sat, or security guard would have sat. So even back then it was a very highly protected industry back in the 1990s, early 90s. Yeah, Luigi, and we also addressed this to all the other copier enthusiasts out there, disenfranchised, lost. Well, I don't even like the logo. I saw this logo for the first time, I think it was in 2008 or whenever it was, and I didn't like it. It looks ugly. Why do I think it looks ugly? Well, it looks old. It looks like it comes out of the 1940s, like, you know, it looks like the past. It's ugly. The big red X, you know, the one with the digital formation. Red's a great colour, yeah, sure, passion, drive, enthusiasm. But this is ugly. It doesn't look modern at all. It looks shit house. I saw this working for Buckprint first time. Now, when you look at the name Fuji Xerox here, it looks like it comes from almost from the haloid Xerox days. I mean, sure, fine, but it doesn't look terribly appealing. And also, we'll talk about the red sphere. Okay, the red sphere. Well, I read about in a printing magazine, I think it was a printing magazine, that the sphere is called the sphere of connectivity. To me that represents, I don't know, but I think it has something to do with the social aspect, the over-obsession with the social aspect to the point of neglecting the machine design and the people who actually have to use it, which, believe it or not, are the normal people as well. Isn't that ironic? So that's called the sphere of connectivity. So here we are out the front of the main entrance, or the reception, where the security guard used to sit. So you had to wear, of course, security badges back then. Now, I'd hate to think how tight the security would be now. It would be absolutely terminal. So, yep, we're showing the main entrance with the signage through the trees. So the building does have a certain appeal about it. I do feel there's a bit of, the red has a sort of 70s retro-futurism feel, but it's still not Xerox. It is not Xerox that I used to admire since I was 13, 14. It is not Xerox. It is not Chester Carlson, Chester Floyd Carlson, Chester F. Carlson. There is no Chester in Xerox, I don't think. Even though they say it, they talk about it, they mention it, I don't see it. Maybe not entirely true. Maybe the signage does capture a little bit of the old Chester Carlson, the old haloid Xerox days. But still, for some reason, I do not like it. Yep, and we have to show the third sign, or was it the fourth sign? So basically, this ain't, I mean, in some ways it captures a bit of the old haloid Xerox, but it's not showing in the products. It's really bad, and, you know, I feel in some ways I want to turn my back on this company. Of course, I feel after Konica Minolta is claimed by us toner heads, Fuji Xerox will fall into line after they've been on a ventilator for a while. But the thing is, at the moment, I just want to turn my back on them and flow with Konica. Even though Konica is riddled with the same disease of over corporatism, obsession with social without any attention to detail with the machinery or vision of the future, I'd prefer them any day at the moment. Xerox to me are just like a stink. They are rank. Rank Xerox. Smell. Bad smell. Smelly Xerox. I don't want to touch them. That was when I worked for them, just before they turned to Fuji. They were rank and then they turned Fuji. I got to see the changing of the guard. I got to see the Japanese come in. And they could have made they would have made an impression, but it's gone now. So yeah, they were called Rank Xerox, and in 1991, just not long before I left, I think it was June, we had the Japanese come and inspect the place. And one of the things I remember fondly, was having to cover up the scuffs on my work boots. Yeah, a Scottish man who worked here as a head technician in the workshop, senior technician, Peter Campbell. Bless his soul, I think he would have died by now, sad to say, but Peter Campbell advised that I take some toner and rub it on the scuff marks of my black work boots. But at Peter Campbell's suggestion, the toner wouldn't adhere to the boots very well. It didn't do a very good job. So what I did, Luigi and whoever's watching, I dipped my cloth, a rag, in some Perclean, stuff that used, you know, like in dry cleaners. We use this to clean machine components of the toner. And then yeah, I dipped the rag in the Perclean. I don't know what came first, the toner or the Perclean, but whatever. We mix the toner with the Perclean. The toner dissolves, or partially dissolves. It softens chemically, and then I rub it on my boots like shoe polish. It worked. Yippee!